Morning. How is everybody doing today? Good. How many people went to TSIS? How many government employees do we have here? Okay, just a few. Thank you, sir, for coming today. It's really important. You know, we're here talking about SBIRs, right? And one of the things the government went to using SBIRs, I know I'm supposed to be talking about my stuff, but is that actuate innovation faster. Because the war fighter is about to go to a fight that they have never seen before. Nothing to the range since World War II. And if we don't get our war fighters prepared faster, we're liable to lose. And this war is very close at the edge. If you're not paying attention to news, you're missing out, right? We got the Ronald Reagan getting ready to port in Vietnam, one of the only 3 times since we've actually stopped that war. And because of the contested environment over there in the Pacific, we've got to work together as a team, as we've seen at TSIS, to figure out how to innovate faster and apply this technology we're talking about here that all us small industry is doing at a rapid rate. But yet we go to TSIS and we go through the standard FAR process, which is very slow and arduous. And some of the requirements they were talking about yesterday are right here in this room and already been vetted throughout the process. So things to think about as we go through. Anyways, I'm here to talk about Design Interactive. And what we're going to talk about is IMITATE. Design Interactive, we just celebrated our 25th anniversary. We're a human factors, human system integration company doing human-centered training. And one of the things we're going to talk about here is IMITATE. And why is it important? Because it's going to help evaluate personnel or warfighters and their readiness and help speed up training. You could just see how the company's been set up and where we're funded. A lot of O&R funding over the years. Won't go through the different funding sources on that. If you got questions, let me know. Here's one of the things that you'll see that we're really a great specialty. It's on the top, is extended reality. Now, as we know, extended reality has some issues as it goes through time, mainly because of the headsets. But what makes Design Interactive unique is our human factors, human system integration process, because what's important, no matter what the technology is, how the individual and how the warfighter applies that technology, making sure that we bring them on board appropriately, they can interact with the technology. As we talk about some of the stuff already, right? We want to throw a bunch of stuff in their face or provide them a bunch of information. We've got to evaluate how that information is provided to them so we don't overload them with the cognitive load and actually start using things like generative AI or ChatGPT to help guide them through those processes. And what Design Interactive does is help show you how to apply that technology so we don't overload the individual. And you can see everything else we have on there. We do have a commercial product that also is on the Silver One, is XR Mentor, which is operational job aid. Silver Tsunami was talked about yesterday if you were at TSIS or the day before, and we utilize Extract, which is also an O&R project. Augmed, which is actually being transitioned through the government with a $3.8 million contract, handheld TC3 trainer, and what we're going to talk about is IMITATE. Now, IMITATE, as I talked about, is important because it's going to help you build your training environment. The idea is to reduce the cost and also to allow the trainer to be prepared, be ready earlier than expected. Now, what happens a lot of times is that individuals are very subjective on their training, right? We take a SME and we go through and we're like, boop, boop, boop. Well, here you can set key performance objectives. As you talk to different SMEs, you set that all up so you can figure out what ready looks like. And in this case, this actually is a video setting on here. You can see a field environment. And with these bars here, and I can't move because of the cameras, I have a hard time standing behind a mic, so forgive me. But you'll see some bars up top, and then you see bars on the bottom. What you're seeing, the bars on the bottom is where the individuals or the teams are not meeting the requirements. And you can go back and do that after action feedback. And then, you got the final assessment on the individuals. But what's interesting, this can be provided into an LMS. And now we start compiling that data over and over of the team or the individual. Now we can start figuring out what true readiness is, which is critical holistically, because oftentimes we're like, is the team, is the individual ready to perform the task? Are they capable to move the ship when they're supposed to? Are they capable of going out to this combat environment? And that's what IMITATE helps you do. Additionally, you can see on this area here, the key performance objectives. what you find with a lot of technology, you have to go back to the manufacturer to go ahead and add those things in here. What you see here, once it's deployed, the instructor, the SME, they can put all this stuff in there themselves. One of the things that's important to me and us as a company is in order to get that technology out there, it's got to be as easy to use. I'll use Excel, for example, right? You can go through, you can do Excel, and you can do most of this work yourself. Every once in a while, you may have to go back and say, hey, I need somebody who's a little bit better at building out this particular formula for me. Then you go out to a SME on that. But until this technology is able to be used by the user themselves, it's not going to be fully deployable. Okay. Well, I got time. So here's some of the key features that you see in the benefits of using IMITATE. I won't go through each of those. We have them in the back of the room. But the important thing, once again, is be able to assess a team, an individual as a whole, be able to plug that into an LMS and determine what real readiness is. And that's what IMITATE's end goal is. Now, you can see it's already currently deployed throughout the United States Marine Corps. It's got 13 pilots, seven currently going on. We've also deployed it within the Air Force. And you're asking, what kind of areas is it being used at? It's been used for field training. It's been used for chaplain assistance. It's been used for instructors. It's been used for ComSec security training. Additionally, Global Strike Command is currently using it to integrate it into their air refueling training. So as you've seen there, that was a handheld web-based system. Now we're starting to bake it into actually flight simulators and being able to pull that data and the video that's in those flight simulators and start determining what real readiness looks like, as well as determining what a SME looks like. If you figure out what that baseline, after running a couple SMEs through the process, now you can make your KPA that is actually based off SMEs, and now you know what ready really looks like versus just someone just standing there. It's like, this is what I think is right. And you start adding the AI engine in there. Let's see, okay. Other areas we're looking at integrating and starting to work on is bringing in the biosignature, as we just seen here just shortly ago. Bringing in that biosignature data, now we can tell also what is the cognitive load on the individual, what is their stress. And sometimes, right, where appropriate, we make an adaptive training scenario and we increase their stress level to see they can handle that appropriate stress if needed. It allows you to do that crawl, walk, run process along the way and evaluate them to ensure that they're doing the steps properly, as well as one of the things I missed on IMITATE as well is adaptive learning. So if you go through the other chart where you see they were below, it'll provide recommendations on how they can improve that training and then go back through that assessment again. Okay, almost done, 5 seconds. Now I lost it, there we go. Commercialization goals, basically translation it within the DoD, and we're bringing it on board with our commercial product, XR Mentor. Here's the POCs. I'm here in the back of the room. Dr. Gwen Campbell couldn't be here today, but this is her project, and she's done all the research and development on this. Appreciate everybody's time. Look forward to seeing you in the back of the room and being able to demonstrate IMITATE for you. Thank you very much.